What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show where we bring together some of the best content creators from the blockchain and NFT gaming community, talk about all the recent news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. My name's Adam. I'll be your host today, but more importantly, we've got a great group of guests for you on this show. I know we missed last week, so I hope you guys had a happy 4th of July if you celebrate. But we're back this week on another awesome Monday in the Metaverse. We got CryptoStache in the house. How's it going, man? Oh, pointing the wrong way.
Doing it. Hey, had a good 4th, man. My band played for the whole street. Everyone loves it. I love the 4th, man. We have a crazy block party at my house, on my street, and it is just like that quintessential slice of American pie. It's great. I loved it.
That quintessential slice of American pie, man. We need a little more of that today, I feel. We got a new face on the show today. We got Chris. One of the founders of NFT Plazas, Web3 and NFT-focused media outlet. How you doing today, Chris? Happy to have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm doing real good. I'm here representing the UK, so I can't give you a slice of American pie, unfortunately, but I'm going to dine out on your pie.
Fine by me.
On the CryptoStache pie. Everyone wants that CryptoStache. We got a couple returning faces in the house again today. We got NFTYQ. One of the founders and co-hosts of NFT Live and LadzCity. How's it going, Q?
What's up, man? Nifty Q, man. Come on, I've been on a couple times. You know the name, dude. But no,
Nifty
it's been a hectic week.
I'm sorry.
You're good, brother. Dude, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like completely bare bones. I just moved into a new place, so it's like super hectic for me this week. But I had to get onto the Stache channel, man. Thanks for the invite. It's always cool to be here.
You've been wrecked during this bear market and you had to downgrade? Is that what?
No. Opposites.
He's like, no, I swear.
Coming live from the street.
Yeah, this is my cardboard box, man. Like, how you like it?
Q is smart and took profits. That's why he's moving.
Yeah.
But we got Hustle back in the house for his second time on the show. For those of you who don't know, host of In the Game on Crypto Banter. Happy to have you again, Hustle.
Good to join as always, and ready to jump into some good topics today. I'm excited for it. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it, man.
Dude, John, I gotta say, man, I gotta apologize, dude, because I was at NFTYQ and I was talking to somebody, Bob, and they're like, oh, did you say hi to Johnny? He was just right there. I go, what? I literally was just standing right there. I did not even see you. And like, they're like, oh yeah, you had his back turned. And I was like, oh man, I feel like an asshole because I didn't even say hi.
I was told the same thing, so I think it's mutual.
Oh, so we both
was told the exact same thing.
Right.
I think we just kind of missed each other barely.
It's all good.
Isn't that's typically what happens at conferences? I feel like everyone's there, but somehow you manage to not see half of the people you know.
It's true.
But we got a good show for you guys. Let's jump right into it. But before we actually do, going to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for the show tonight here, Illuvium. Even in this bear market, they're continuing to kind of put out development updates of their game, and their most recent update was actually some stellar footage promoting their Alluvials drop that's going to be coming soon here. Their in-game PFPs that are going to be coming. So let's take a quick look at this clip that they dropped recently about their landing page and the Alluvials that they got coming up. I don't know about you guys, but I know that I want to rock one of those as my profile picture on Twitter, man. Illuvium is probably going to be like the next big, like the Web3 Pokemon. We actually have a video coming out this week or early next week on some gameplay of their Illuvium Zero game. So keep an eye out for that. But if you guys want to know more about their Alluvials, go ahead and join their Discord and keep an eye on the announcements page. You're going to know more soon on how to get in on that. But let's dive into the show here. We got some great topics for y'all today. We're going to be talking about what happens when NFTs flop, and kind of some rain on the parade for a few different celebrities and brands here that are trying to get into the Web3 space. We're going to be talking about NFT gaming consoles. Are they hot or not? and then ultimately what makes a good blockchain game. I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on all of that. But let's get into the first topic here. What happens when NFTs flop? So for those of you who might not be paying attention to Twitter or are maybe a little bit, not as involved in the space because of the nature of the market right now, we got some interesting stories for you. Chris Brown actually went ahead and released his first kind of venture into the metaverse, and it was an absolute failure. He dropped these Breezyverse NFTs, and that basically almost had, like, I think they sold 260 of them out of 10,000. He's got like 114 million followers on Instagram. So it's a wonder, what happened there. Maybe his marketing team didn't do a very good job on that. We also had another auction where Chevy was auctioning off their first NFT with a possible one-of-one Z06 Corvette that got absolutely zero bids on OpenSea. So they canceled the whole thing. It didn't get any interest whatsoever, and it was a complete failure. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on like what the next move is for them, and in general, like what does someone do, a brand, a creator, anyone who's looking to launch an NFT after they've done it and it's failed. So Stache, let me start with you. Do you think a failed NFT drop is like a death sentence for a brand? Does it damage their reputation?
I mean, I would say at this point, a failed NFT drop is not going to like damage a major brand beyond any repair. I think that we're still really early with NFTs, and there's going to be flops. I mean, there's going to be projects that just don't deliver, or NFTs that are offered that are just kind of like awkward. Like, why is this a thing? So we're still in those early stages of like, why is this even an NFT thing? So yeah, I mean, this is something I don't think people talk about a lot. Everyone's always talking about the gains and all the community that's happening and governance, but no one really ever talks about the dark side of like NFTs, of like what happens if your NFTs suck balls and you literally just can't sell any of them. Well, what do you do then? I mean, it's just like anything else. What happens when you like develop a new product and it just sucks and no one wants to use it? Or that new infomercial and like literally no one's buying that course. I don't know, man. It's a hard road to recovery. I would say if you're a crypto specific company, if you're already an established brand outside of crypto, I don't think it's that big of a recovery. Now I will say, man, Chris Brown, dude, what the hell? How you gonna have that many millions of followers yet you can't sell 10,000 of one item? I don't know how much those Breezyverse NFTs were, but dude, those things had to have been super expensive, because if you have that many people that follow you and like what you do in general, we'll say even just 1% of that many millions of people, you should easily be able to sell 10,000 items to them. If you can't, man, you got a lot of fakers. You got a lot of fake ass followers, and that's all I got to say about that.
They were like $400. So I mean, in the realm of NFT. In the realm of NFTs, not too unreasonable.
That's super cheap in the realm of most things that celebrities sell, I would say. So $400, dude, bro. You screwed up, Chris. I don't know what happened, man, but someone needs to slap you back in the shape. We're gonna get Will Smith in play here.
Yeah, we need Chris Brown needs to get his agent on the line and hit up Chris for the promo on his drop next time.
Get your NFTs in my mouth.
Chris, let me ask you, man, like, what do you think of this? I'm curious to know your thoughts on, like, what do you think a creator or a company or anyone trying to launch an NFT should do after they've had a failed NFT drop? Like, what's the next step? Can they make up for it in any way? Can they do anything to salvage that?
Yeah, I think obviously, like, being in NFT news here, and this is what we do every day, we see sort of trends as they're happening, and we're just seeing the tailing off of PFPs at the moment. So we had the whole like building phase, which was maybe 1-2 years, and then crypto art just came and took everybody by storm, and all of a sudden artists were being successful left, right, and center, and I guess the community there was really building its own native set of artists, which was fantastic to build on. And in many ways, we've seen a very similar approach, or what would you call it? A very similar happening. Oh my God. Sorry, I don't do this very often.
No worries, bro.
So we've seen a very similar set of circumstances happen with PFPs. So we've seen a whole bunch come in. Some were successful, others weren't. and these things go in cycles all the time. And I think the people launching these PFPs now, they're people who are advising them to get into NFTs for just being there and being early and getting your name out there. In many ways, it doesn't really matter if they succeed or fail to them. They're just trying to get their name out there. Obviously, it looks a lot better if you do make a good thing of it and you do sell. But I think the celebrities coming in right now are probably a touch too late. I think they've already had over 12 months to get in on PFPs and selling JPEGs. And if their team haven't advised them accordingly, then they're late to the game. And I think we're going to see more and more of this. I guess what we need to see now is building upon selling just JPEGs and building sort of rewards that come with that. We've already seen signs of this coming through, and I think we're going to see that more and more often, and those that do will succeed. I think there's been a distinct lack of planning. I think everybody's just sort of piled in. Their people, especially celebrities I'm talking about here, their people have said to them, hey, you need to be doing NFTs with very little thought as to why. Just get in there, sell what you can, take the money, and in some instances run. Which is terribly disappointing to see from an NFT head like myself. But I guess it's all part of growing and all part of the market maturing.
Yeah, and who knows, man? When I say at the beginning of this last kind of bull market, remember all of the 2017, 2018 era NFTs, the OG Ethereum projects that got pumped out of nowhere just because they were OG projects. Maybe your niche Chris Brown NFT or the Chevy Corvette ones. Probably not those, honestly, but maybe some of those failed NFTs will find themselves getting pumped again the next cycle on an off chance. But if not, I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on the ones that do succeed and what are the elements of that make them succeed. Q, let me ask you, what do you think of the elements that go into a successful NFT drop, and why are certain projects successful and others not?
Well, I think you guys mentioned that it is a timing thing, right? There is a cycle, part of the last cycle, that if they launched these things, they would have been successful. There was a 6-month window where everything was literally, doing really well. And now you really can't half-ass it. You either have to be, you could potentially sell an item and have it be an NFT and not really go down the rabbit hole of calling it and headlining it as an NFT and just sell it to your brand or your, people that are used to your brand. Or you can go the strictly, NFT native route and just target us who, want to see the fully NFT piece and all this stuff. You can't be in between.
The degens.
You can't be in between anymore. That's what Chris Brown's doing. He's I want to sell a little bit to my fans and a little bit to these NFT people. It's no, you can't do both anymore. It reminds me of the Celsius BlockFi situation where they're oh yeah, we're a decentralized platform, but we also have centralized elements. It's you're trying to do both and therefore you're neither. And so I just think these drops reek of that. They really don't have, I think, the NFT degen in mind, and they kind of want to go the route of selling to their own fans. And I think that cycle is just not here now, especially with the Chevy one maybe. So.
I would agree and disagree with you on that one, actually, because I'll say what I think that, we're seeing too is that we need to make that transition into this being about something for everybody, right? You're saying, okay, well, they didn't go full degen and make it all about the degens and focus just on crypto people, or they didn't go full just surface level fandom and focus it just on them. They kind of missed the mark in both. But I think that we really do need to get to that point where these NFT drops are hitting the mark on both of those things. It's a lot harder of a order to hit, right? It's a lot taller of an order for any project coming out now. But that's what we have to do. Like Chris was saying, the time of just being able to throw something out there and all right, let's go for it. That shit's over, man. But so I agree and disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, you had your chance, Chris Brown, and everyone else who is considering just throwing some garbage together and putting it out there. But, now you actually got to put some work into it if you want to get anywhere. And I think that's honestly the way it should be anyway. Hustle, I want to get your opinion, man. Which types, and because Stache even said this too at first, there are certain things that don't make sense for an NFT, and that's probably why maybe some of them fail. and Nifty Q, you said too, like this Chevy NFT might not have been the right time. Like, how many Chevy car enthusiasts, Corvette, like muscle car enthusiasts, even though the Corvette isn't as much of a muscle car anymore, we won't get into that. But how many of those enthusiasts are getting into NFTs right now? You know what I mean? So Hustle, which types of products and services do you think will benefit the most from having an NFT associated with them, and like which ones do you think it doesn't really make sense for?
Yeah, and first of all, just to chime in on the back and forth there, I do think that the celebrities that are getting into the space, they have someone whispering in their ear to get into it because it's a cash grab type of thing, 100%. Their manager or whoever it is in their circle that tells them they need to launch an NFT. But what they do miss is NFTs have to have go-to-market strategies. 1 million followers doesn't mean that you're going to mint out your project. And awareness, right? Did anyone here know that Chris Brown was minting out a project, or he was doing an NFT until it was a headline that it did very badly, right?
Yeah, I didn't.
When you look at loyalty programs for brands, I think that's a great fit for a company to come in and instill their loyalty programs for rewards, like a shopping, whether it's an online store like Adidas, for example. It's a loyalty pass. If you hold the NFT, maybe you get exclusive discounts on products and services. I could definitely see that being an avenue. And I obviously, we could all say Web3 music, right? If Chris Brown was to release like a Web3 album, I'm sure that could potentially do very well. Tory Lanez did very well, notoriously, selling $1 million worth at $1 a piece. I believe he did it in like a couple of minutes. So I think if it was a music NFT tied to an actual piece of work, that would work best for those artists. And I could definitely see like a loyalty program type of NFT working good for brands.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how it sounds simple when you put it that way, but somehow these big companies and these big celebrities can't get it right? The people whispering in their ear.
Well, they're not. It's not organic. It's not organic. Like you see, like guys like Snoop have been around, in the space for a minute. He's doing super well because people know that his reputation has been in the space for a minute, and so it doesn't seem organic when a guy like Chris Brown says, I'm launching an NFT. So, and the guy hasn't taken a W in like 10 years.
It's true. Yeah. It's totally true. He's just riding on it, man. And I was going to say the same thing, man. Is it there's a problem here is there's a disconnect between the rollout, like Hustle was saying up here. You got to have a plan. I feel like you're right. These people don't have any plans. They're having management whisper in their ears saying, "Hey, you got to do this. You got to do this." And like, they're looking for a company that can turnkey it for them. That, there's not a lot of really quality companies out there that have the time and bandwidth to do it. And so, yeah, you end up with something like this where it's just super janky. And like, a lot of times what happens, I think, with these celebrities is they just kind of greenlight it and they're never involved with it again, and someone just kind of takes in a certain direction. You're just like, oh my God, what the hell is this dog shit, And but then as the content, as a creator yourself or a musician or celebrity, then what do? Do you backpedal? Like I probably would if I saw some shit like what they were dropping for Breezy Verse. I would have backpedaled like a motherfucker on that thing, man. I'm like, whoa, no, back it on up, man, back it on up. But they didn't do that. And I think they're just getting bad advice from these really young companies that don't really know how to market anything. They just know a little bit about NFTs and they know a little bit more than a lot of these marketing people. And that's the issue. So I think like having a dual approach, I think might work. Having an approach that is specifically just for like the crypto demographic and then an approach that is for like your mainstream. So I don't know.
One thing I would add to that as well, just quickly, is that I think a lot of these, we can talk about celebrities, but also like traditional brands as well. They have PR firms from traditional backgrounds, so they don't necessarily understand crypto for one, but they certainly don't understand NFTs for two, and they don't understand the community and what people here like our understanding of technology and our passion for NFTs, but only like and crypto as well. It's bizarre because they approach and then they want to pay in fiat and have no plan as well. Like PR companies, they just want to do what they used to and continue doing that. Where really this requires some serious thought. I think just because everybody's so well in the know and we live and breathe this community. And I think for anybody who's used to the NFT community and spending time in the circles, anybody who isn't, stand out a mile, and you can really spot that. And we notice it a mile off. We get so many traditional PR firms contact us daily, and they don't really understand what we're doing. They just like sort of copy and paste a press release and just send it to us with no high or anything. Like, it's post this. It's like, come on now, like a little bit of give and take here. Who are you? What you doing? Like, so yeah, there's been a real sort of clash of culture there, I think, and it's going to take some time to nurture and for one to understand the other.
To Hustle's point, they could have released this as a drop, like a music drop. Like, honestly, it could have been a single as an NFT music piece. Bury the headline of it being an NFT. Say this is a new music release. It probably would have done really well. But he would have
done a lot better.
Yeah.
We don't know if it do well, but
at least a little bit better. You know, more like 40% sold out compared to 1% sold out or 2% sold out, whatever, you know.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, let's hold on. Let's put this in perspective. I sold more NFTs on my last NFT drop than Chris Brown did. That's saying something, man. And I'm nobody. I have no millions of followers. And yeah, so I don't know. It's just crazy.
Well, no, I think part of the problem though is like because of the past, 8 months or 9 months now, whatever, when all of these projects were doing well, the people in the celebrities' ear now telling them to do this drop are like, you don't have to put any work into it, and it'll be a home run because that's what they expect of it, even though those aren't the market conditions anymore. And now we're seeing that kind of long tail effect of projects that got started up right when like things were still kind of good.
It's easy, do it now, right? Yeah, exactly. They started at this certain point, and then there's that overlap now, and it's like, oh, it's not easy no more.
Yeah, so now you actually got to put some work into it, and if not, you're gonna flop. So if you were planning on putting out an NFT drop with very little work put into it in these market conditions, I'd advise you otherwise, and maybe go back and put more thought to it. But let's jump into our next topic here on another venture that I think is a bit questionable, in my honest opinion. We're talking about the Web 3.0, the console of the metaverse, the Polium Web 3 gaming console. So there are a couple like actually traditional Web 2 YouTube guys who put videos out about this with scathing reviews that weren't good, and I tend to agree with them. This is a startup project here, or a startup venture that's promising to deliver a crypto gaming console that's going to be enabled with 8 different blockchains, all the popular gaming ones, Immutable X, Wax, Solana, Ethereum, the whole list, along with, a fingerprint scanner built into the controller, a native wallet built into the console, and some pretty impressive specs ambiguous specs based on what they're claiming here. But I'm curious as your guys' opinion on if this is a good idea just in general, and like, are people even going to buy this NFT gaming console? Hustle, let me start with you. Do you think NFT gaming consoles in general are a good idea? I mean, like when most of the games in Web3 right now you can play on your computer anyway, do you think anyone's going to buy a console?
I think it's just a mechanism that would keep us further away from mass adoption, right? If we want crypto gaming, NFT games, et cetera, to get pushed to the point where the big studios are going to come in and want to build on an NFT technology with their assets, skins, weapons, camos, et cetera, they're going to need to have that comfort at least to be able to know that Xbox and PlayStation and PC are going to be their sources, their go-tos. Those are proven over the last 20 years to be the home run consoles for the industry. I actually just see that console for NFT games or for crypto games actually probably providing a roadblock because it'll have its hiccups. It's not going to be perfect. Who even knows what games are going to choose to go down that route, and who would choose the route of that over a traditional? If they could go with Xbox and PlayStation, why would they even launch on a console that's just specifically segmented to crypto games in an industry that still is so small within crypto and obviously within games? As you said, the scathing reviews of the console from Web 2 gamers, it's just another red mark. Like, for them, it's just another red mark. Oh, they're trying to sell us something NFT again. Here we go. But it's just because they're not terming it correctly to the gamers, currently, that it's not really, we shouldn't call them NFTs. It's got to be like in-game collectibles. And if, that word NFT gaming console, that's not going to help us with the spreading of adoption, in my opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there. I mean, I think especially when most of the games, like you wouldn't even want to play for, like, at least right now, you wouldn't want to play for more than a couple hours at a time. Who's gonna put a pre-sale order onto a console that who knows, really when it's gonna come out? Their roadmap is a bit ambiguous, also. Um, but it's just interesting to see that these projects are still coming out in the bear market. And they're getting bad reviews from the Web 2 community and even from the Web 3 community. Some people, I want to get your opinion, Q, on one of the features specifically on the controller. Would you be comfortable playing on a console that has a fingerprint scanner on the controller and that was required to like actually use the console and operate your NFTs?
No. The whole thing's a big no for me, man. This whoever is on the fence about this, by the way, go and look at the logo for Polium 1 and tell me it's not the fucking GameCube logo. You can't do it with a straight face. This thing reeks of like half-ass just roadmap that will never get completed. I would bet my Bored Ape that this shit never comes out, doesn't sell more than 2,000 units or anything like that, dude. I am a no-go on Polium. Like, make some good NFT games instead of going for the console. Like the console route is like going the social media route. When anybody tells me they're going to create a console, it's like them telling me they're going to compete with Twitter. Like, it's not working. Like Amazon, Google, they already tried to compete with Microsoft and God, I'm blanking completely. Nintendo, like they're all already entrenched. There is no way that this ever comes to success. So I want to step off this soapbox here, but no, I would not use a game that has a finger scanner.
Well, yeah, and I mean, not only that, I'm pretty sure, I don't know this specifically, but I'm pretty sure that most of those, like the Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, I'm pretty sure they all sell their consoles, or the new ones that come out at least, at a loss initially. And so, like, if you're getting into the console market, have you even talked to the manufacturers who are gonna build this thing? Have you even talked to NVIDIA? Have you got your graphics card supplier when there's already a shortage of graphics cards and you're trying to roll out a new console that no one's gonna buy? I don't know. Chris, let me ask you, like, what do you think of this console? Do you think that it's ever gonna catch on or come to market? And even if it did, like, would you buy it? And what would you want to see out of it, I guess?
Well, I guess, first of all, I don't want to be too harsh on this project because if it is a legitimate project, then I do wish them all the luck. I mean, I guess what I can see from experience in assessing certain inquiries that come in for ads with us at NFT Plazas is you don't really need to dig too far underneath the surface if you are going to be an investor to find out what is scammy and what's not. To me, instantly, I think I could spend 5 minutes and tell you that there's absolutely no way in this world I would personally touch this. If it is a legitimate project, like, fair play to you. I hope you do really well. Maybe there is room in the market for a Web3 console. If there is, I don't think there's anywhere near the amount of games or utility at the moment which would warrant a console being used. I think, like Hustle was saying earlier on, we don't have enough content for that, and anything you can do on your own computer. To me, after experience of having replied to so many emails and so many inquiries over the past God knows how many years, this just stands out a mile as a red flag. There's no way I would touch it. It looks like, I mean, if you look at the Twitter account, for example, they've done 40 tweets. I don't know if they've done some PR or something like that. I do get the feeling that maybe the gaming community has picked it up. I think after doing a little bit of research on this Polium, not too much, maybe just watched a couple of YouTube videos from traditional Web 2 gaming YouTubers, they're hitting on it real hard. And I almost feel like there's a bit of an issue there with traditional gamers and the NFTs that are struggling to adopt it just purely because of the amount of scams and the amount of bad actors that there are in the space. And for me, Polium comes across initially as one of those who are unfortunately reassuring their opinions that this space is a little bit Wild West at the moment, especially as they're used to, I guess, such high levels of customer service and finishing from these companies who are producing these amazing games. to all of a sudden enter a scam space, which unfortunately that's what they're selling it as when I was watching these videos, is terribly concerning, because we need these guys on board. I mean, there are some fantastic games being built, but I think their communities are latching on to those who are maybe bad. I mean, you could have made that website in 2 days, 2 friends sat around having a couple of beers and put out a PR, and they've latched onto it. I wouldn't take this with any seriousness at all, which is pretty brutal, to be honest with you. I do hope they are really trying to create this console, but from what I've seen, we wouldn't touch it. We wouldn't advertise this to our readers.
I feel like many of the projects in this space, the websites could be thrown together in an afternoon. I feel like that's a common theme here, and with you're right. It's almost like it's like indie, the niche or the tier below indie gaming. Like that's what NFT gaming do.
There should be a new tier. Can we get a new tier now? We have indie games, we have AAA, we have indie, and then below indie games is NFT gamers and NFT game developers.
And we're like the lowest class. We're the low class.
Wow, yeah.
But you guys showed the Illuvium trail at the start of the episode was fucking awesome. Like there's all these awesome things happening,
they're
and then this sets us back like months. this shit.
Yeah. Well, so there's a handful of great games being developed, and that will be here in 5 years, with a great product, and it's maybe sooner than 5 years, honestly, in the case of Illuvium. Yeah. But no, I mean, we have a lot of room to grow here with how these games are being developed and the quality in which they're being produced. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Stache, especially since, correct me if I'm wrong, did you ever receive it? But Stache, you ordered an Atari VCS at one point, or pre-ordered. You did buy a Web3 console, technically. So I want to hear your thoughts on the Web3, on why you bought a Web3 console. And if you think there's room for an NFT enabled console in the future.
So, all right. First off, could you have picked a worse name for your console? It's as bad as it gets. Are you kidding me? Like PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, they all kind of like roll off the tongue. Polium? That's what you go with? That's horrible. It's like a horrible name, man. First off, we're just starting from the top here, top down. Second, logo, rip off from the GameCube. Who knows? I mean, it's still not a bad logo. It used to be even worse.
They changed it. It was a direct rip off, and they got in like trouble on Twitter, and then they redid it.
Right. So okay, read it. I mean, just in general, like, just top down, everything about this project is not good. I mean, I would love to see them succeed just because I'm bullish, man. That's how I roll. But the fact of the matter is that a console coming into the market has one of the biggest uphill hurdles of anything in any industry. In any industry, when you talk about competition and trying to go into a market, it's like saying, hey, I'm starting my own oil company. Yep, we're going to compete with all the big guys. I'm starting an electric vehicle company. It's you got to understand, who are you going to be playing with, man? You're going to be playing and competing against the biggest and the best in the industry that are to go against them is almost insurmountable odds. So to think that you're going to be successful in that, you got to be a crazy ass bastard. That's simple. Now, what I will say is that whereas this is, they say it's the first NFT enabled console, not necessarily. So I will tell you that, Atari launched the VCS. What was this, like a year and a half ago? Almost 2 years?
2021,
about a year and a half ago.
Right?
Yeah, it was like
the end of 2021, right? Yeah.
2020? No, I think it was 2020. And so the whole idea here was that Atari was kind of trying, they're trying to go through a renaissance, and they were really picking up some steam there. And they said, we're releasing a brand new console, and eventually it's going to also have blockchain capabilities. They didn't launch it and say, oh, it has all these blockchain things built in. It was just like, here's our new console. And what we're focusing on, the way they approached it, I thought was actually kind of nice, was that they were like, okay, we're approaching this as, this is going to be one of those casual gamer consoles that is focused on, the retro feel of the games, and not trying to put out like a bunch of brand new, high graphic hits that would compete with like what's going on PS5 and on Xbox, right? And so that was kind of where they approached it. Like they were trying to get the nostalgia, but then also bring some cool indie stuff to the scene, all while then also enabling blockchain technology, which talking about the sandbox being their first partner to where they're like, oh, well, you'll be able to play the sandbox on the VCS. And actually the console itself, the design of it is actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, like the thought around it, but like right, but like Hustle was talking about earlier, is not having a big enough launch plan. They had this whole thing, they developed this whole console, they got it out there, but there were just no plan behind it. They had no launch titles, they had nothing to really like put it out there. They got no press about it, nobody really cared about it, they got no influencers or people on board with it, and it flopped too. Now, if you look at the name muscle, just the name recognition behind Atari as a brand, it is huge. Now, the company has been flopping for a while now. I thought they were really going to come back with this blockchain side of things, but they really just didn't. They launched a token, they did all this stuff, and I was like, man, this is like what they're doing. It seems like they're moving in a good direction. As when you talk about major console brands, Atari is still there on the list, right? They may be low on the list, but still there as far as recognizability and what they could potentially do. And so, I thought, hey, this it'll at least be something cool to check out. And like I said, yeah, they just haven't done jack shit with it. So if you compare what this company is doing to what has happened with VCS and their name recognition, everything that comes with it, and how horribly that went, I mean, how well do you think a no-name brand coming out of nowhere is going to do with a console, like with every other thing that everyone here just talked about? There's no AAA games. There's no console-ready games for any kind of platform out there. So what is this going to be? It's just going to be literally a little computer that's wrapping your browser. It's like wrapping your browser, into this UI, and that's about all really it's going to do. Maybe I don't like. I just don't like. There's so many factors here that don't play in. So anyway, so that's my experience with the Atari VCS, which I still like. I still have, I still own, and every once in a while I'll fire that bad boy up and play some asteroids.
Were there games?
Pong. There are games, yeah.
Okay.
It just and dude, they even had they sent out an email the other day, which was like the first one I've ever gotten from VCS since I bought it, and they're like, "Hey, 50% sale," and I'm like, "On what, man? What's going on?" Like, you don't send out anything, and like after like a year, you're like, "Hey, 50% sale on the VCS store." I'm just like, "All right, come on, guys. There can be a lot more going on here."
Atari is going to get potential. Atari is going to get after Ty Lopez is done with Radio Shack. He's coming for Atari next.
There you go.
No, and the last thing I'll say about Polium too is like the console itself is the size of the controller, and it's supposed to be able to play AAA games. I don't know about hardware specs, but
I don't know, man. Yeah, that doesn't sound right to me, dude. The size of the console needs to be about the size of my badass GTX over here, the 2060. So at least that size. If it's not that size or bigger, then it's not going to work for us. Simple.
No, I mean, but I think we have the final opinion here. We could bang the gavel on this one. But let's move on. Polium, I wish you the best in your endeavor. But as we said in the last segment, I think maybe this needs a little bit more thought, especially in this market. But let's move on to our last topic here. Kind of a general segment going along with Polium console. I want to ask you guys about the blockchain gaming space in general and what makes a good blockchain game, what makes a bad blockchain game. How are blockchain games going to succeed over the next 10 years, and how do we make that happen? So, Chris, let me start with you. Do you think, or like, what are some of the? Let's start really basic here. As someone, well, let me ask you this: what were some of the video games you played growing up? What were some of like your favorite games, and like which ones would you want to see crypto being built into if you could go back and play them again?
Wow, that's a really cool question. So I got a whole heap of games. I'm not a huge gamer, but I found the games that I enjoy playing, and I played them a lot. So first of all, I guess it's real wayward. But did anybody ever play Theme Hospital? It was like a spin-off from Theme Park, but it was a hospital. Oh my God, I'm still addicted to that game today. It's fantastic. If you haven't played it, you can download it for free. You can get it on MS-DOS. It's absolutely brilliant. Give it a go. But it's basically like theme park, but theme hospital. But aside from that, I think mainly Civilization, Age of Empires, those sort of games are my sort of games I used to love. And to be honest with you, we've already seen them attempted in the very, very early days. So those who've been around in the space for quite some time now may well remember Crypto Rome, which changed itself to Crypto Caesar. I bought those NFTs, and they were sort of one of the very first iterations of buying NFTs and staking them, and you have your place on the map. And I was super excited for that. Unfortunately, it didn't quite turn out. I don't think the market was quite ready for it, nor was the tech. For many reasons, it didn't quite work out, but definitely I would love to see something like that come back in an NFT fashion. And like, that's definitely something I could really see myself going into. But I'd also like to see Web3 games change a little bit. We don't need to necessarily repeat what's already been done here. We can try different things, and many companies are. I mean, I am representing tonight Avagotchi. Big fan. The only gaming t-shirt I own.
I'm repping too.
I'm not affiliated with them at all, and they're a super cool team with like a really great set of developers, which is, to be honest with you, nowadays the first place I look: who's developing this game, who's really behind it, and are they doxed, and are they serious, and do they have the credentials, and are they going on YouTube chats and really showing their face, and are they attending conferences? These are all the sort of things that you should really be considering before even investing in any NFT game or any NFT project. Really go to the conferences or watch them online and see who's there, see who's exhibiting, see who's really taking this seriously, showing their team, and spending time and effort and money to get their name out there. These are the ones that are committed, and I think they will go a lot further than some console who's created a website in 2 days sort of thing.
Yeah, prime example, another shout out to our friends over at Illuvium. One of the games among the, like, I'd say I have a good five games that I could count on my hand, maybe 10 that I'm like, these are winners, ones that I'm going to bet on. But Hustle, let me ask you, I mean, what role do you think that like video games are going to play in the future of the metaverse? Do you think that like this, what we're talking about here with blockchain gaming is just a fad, or is it actually going to catch on?
Whatever. I actually would say that it's going to take a Web3 game like an Illuvium, like a AAA first-person shooter to come in and actually sweep the space to the point where the studios have to pay attention, right? They see this new forming revenue model with NFTs. It gives back to the players with the ownership, but also, these microtransactions, there's no second touch point for those studios, right? They could actually use the royalties to their advantage on the resale of seasonal items like battle passes. They could just take a small fee, just like OpenSea does. And when those season 1 assets aren't able to be earned in season 6, they're actually going to be able to have a second touch point when the users and the players could potentially resell that, and they could take a royalty cut from those actions and from those sales. So I think that it is obviously it's like a test model at the moment. I think it's almost like a test run for these games. A lot of it's fallen on bad tokenomics and not engaging gameplay loops at this point. And, it's understandable. We're very early and it takes time to make a quality game. I do think that it'll take a game to come in here and be like, wow, we have to pay attention. And we're seeing Epic Games launching games like from Gala, Grit is going to be on the Epic Game Store. So we're seeing some slow adoption from those bigger names in the space. And I do eventually see it coming into the light a little more mainstream, because I think this technology, NFTs could be used for a lot of things, or maybe not. But I actually do think gaming is the biggest application. That is the easiest thing to fit in to any of these ecosystems, whether it's like a CSGO skins, but it just is inside the game's ecosystem. That's what it really needs to become. And, CSGO's technically missed out on all those royalties over the years from CSGO skins. So I think it's a model that will be adopted. It's just going to take a quality game to show that model will work, because Axie, all these games with tokenomic metrics, they haven't really set the best example for sustainability.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of blockchain games fail this past, I'd say this past cycle. Some really just come out the gate as hot garbage, and others, like Axie, see a great, amount of be in the limelight, be like the most popular game that kind of, I would say, almost brought the attention to Web3 gaming or blockchain gaming this past kind of cycle. Turn out to, I'll come out and say it. I don't think really Axie is going to rebound. If they do, they're gonna have to come up with some real creative, something real creative to get back to where they were. And one more thing, quick shout out also to another great blockchain game. You mentioned the Epic Games Store. Mythical team, the team over at Mythical and Blanco's Block Party are going to be launching on Epic Games too, along with Grit. So shout out to them as well. But no, I mean, we've seen a ton of crappy games, and like you said, a lot of it has been the fault of the tokenomic model behind them. And I think when you talk about Web3 gaming, that's one of the pieces that's going to be most important to getting right when it comes to having a game that lasts, that can stand the test of time, or a little more time relative to what we've seen with other games, but actually attract a lot of players. Stache, let me ask you, I mean, what are some of your favorite blockchain games that you played this last, 10 months? And are there any that haven't come out yet that you're looking forward to playing? And why did you like them, or why are you excited for them?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of touching on good NFT game design. I think some of the things that I like about what we're seeing right now in the industry is gaming companies or these development companies understanding really understanding who their target market is and who their target demographic is, and then creating the game mechanics and UI to support that. And that's not something we've really done in crypto gaming thus far. And so we're starting to see some games like Blanco's Block Party do some of those things and do it very successfully, right? Where they're obfuscating all of the NFT and blockchain level, and you don't have to know anything about that stuff. Like, who wants to? I don't give a shit about that, man. I barely even have time to go in and look at the damn key bindings for the game. I just jump in. I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even know how this works. Just jump in. I'll figure it out, right? So if I don't even have time to go look at those things, I'm definitely not going to have time to learn how to make a wallet and get my seed phrase and then buy the NFTs, and so I think that's what I really love from what I'm seeing from a lot of the newer games that are coming out, is that they're finding ways to make the UI easy for non-blockchain, non-crypto users to be able to navigate, and then saying, if you do want to use the NFT side of things, then here's a off ramp, or here's this convenient, easy method to port your NFT over to OpenSea or to wherever you want to go. So that's what so instead of just putting a highlight on a couple games, but that's what I think that we want to see here from these games as we progress. And the really good games you see out there, they're starting to do that better and better every single day. And so that I think that's really what we need to focus on right now, is as an industry, we need to focus on making that barrier to entry far less. And we talked about that just before with the console. That makes the barrier to entry a lot higher, puts the bar back up again. We don't want the bar back up here, guys. The bar should not be up here for us to get into the damn game. It should be down here. I shouldn't even be able to see the damn bar. I should just be able to walk over it, and maybe I would have tripped on it, but that's about it. That's where the bar should be. I just thought of
something, man. Imagine on that console, you have to set up your wallet and type in your 12-word seed phrase with the fucking controller sticks.
No, it's horrible. Typing on it's so bad. It's so bad. The VCS, actually, you can even plug a keyboard into. The VCS was cool because it was a hybrid console and PC. You could upgrade it like a PC, but you could use it like a console, which I like. But yeah, there's lots of different elements that bringing NFTs and blockchain into an ecosystem make it harder, right? And for a console, that's one of them. But for a game as well, I mean, there's just so many elements there. And I think that's what I'd love to see more of, is more companies understanding that and obfuscating those layers and just making it stupid simple for everyone to get on board to play.
Yeah, make it easy, build it easy, and they will come. Make it easy, and they will come. The masses will flow in, and we'll live in a world where, everyone's playing a blockchain game. No one has heard the word NFT. It's all in-game digital collectibles, and you're free to send them wherever you want to whichever marketplace in whichever other game or IP you want, and that's the metaverse that we hope to have. Hustle, let me or Q, I'm sorry, Q, let me get your opinion, man. I mean, ultimately, do you think that every video game is going to become a blockchain game, or are there some video games that maybe it doesn't make sense to have NFTs?
So I think you guys hit on most of this question, which is basically like every game will likely have some version of an NFT, but it's not like we see it today. It'll be completely obfuscated, and it'll be within the technology where people have ownership. Now, there's probably going to be a minority of games that come out and have no blockchain technology attached whatsoever. That's my general thought on what that looks like. I think the better question and the problem that we're having right now is your first question, which was, think about all the games that you played back in the day. Which ones would you love to have attached, blockchain to it? And the quick answer for me when I saw that was none. And that's where I think that the issue that we're having in blockchain right now is like, there is an argument to be had. And it's one of the only good arguments that I hear from gamers that don't adopt NFTs is like, I just want to play for fun. And like, that's what I played for when I was a kid. Maybe I'm looking at it with rose-colored glasses, nostalgia, all that. But I don't want to have a crypto aspect to that. I just want to play 007. I just want to play all of these cool games just for the pure fun of it. So I think managing the fun aspect and making a good game, like, which I think people are starting to, in the second generation of gaming, are starting to realize, oh shit, we need to make a good game, as opposed to the outsized financial factor that I think Axie, like you mentioned, was the biggest benefactor, but also the biggest detractor to the whole ecosystem, because it truly became finance before gaming. And that's the exact opposite of what people get in gaming for, man. It's fun, So I love that question. I thought it was really good. And it's a balance we need to figure out in the space.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the spirit of that question, man, what are some of the, your OG video games that you would wish, maybe you don't want NFTs in them, but you wish you could go back and play again today, with the same wide eyes as you did back then?
I think MMOs are a good answer. People are saying FPSs. I think you guys both brought up skins in CSGO. Like that would be cool. I'm a League of Legends player myself. That would be awesome. But MMOs, like a RuneScape, like a RuneScape with NFTs, feels like to me that it would be a cool experience.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who, this is a niche reference, but the Warglaves, the Illidari Warglaves in World of Warcraft that you get from Illidan, man. If you had those in WoW, you'd be selling them right now for like, on OpenSea for 20K. That's 20 ETH easy. You know what I mean? But no, I think all great points, man. And we have a lot of room to improve here with blockchain games. And there's definitely going to be a particular way of doing it that works. I think focusing on cosmetics, things that don't detract with the monetary aspect crypto brings into play from the actual game mechanics and having fun in the game, like you said, Q, is going to be the ticket to a game that actually attracts Web2 gamers. They don't have an issue with the fact that it's got crypto enabled in it. And they actually want to play it and have fun and embrace the technology compared to demonizing it. But that's why we're here, man. That's what we say this stuff every day. We talk to each other about it, but we have to get this message across to the Web2 people, and hopefully we can do that over the coming years here. But that's going to count. That's going to be on us and you guys watching out there, man. You're going to have to also tell your friends and tell the gamers what are the good aspects about this and why they should be paying attention and not listening to all the naysayers out there who do have some valid points, but at the same time, I think that this technology is going to be better for everyone involved. Anyone have parting thoughts on what we should leave them with at the end of this episode here? No parting thoughts? No.
I wish I had something nice and witty to say. I was like, stop making shitty blockchain games. There you go.
Fun first. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Fun first, and then we'll think about the rest afterwards. But if you concentrate on a game which is real good fun to play, it's bound to be a success. Just listen to the gamers.
There you go.
Listen to the gamers.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. This has been Around the Metaverse. Catch us next week for another episode. And thank you all for watching. We're out.
Boom.